Good morning, EKU Libraries followers, and welcome to our second Focus on Scholarship Facebook Live video. My name is Heather Byrne, and today I am talking with Dr. Scotty Dunlap. Scotty is a tenured associate professor in EKU's School of Safety, Security, and Emergency Management, where he teaches campus and online courses in occupational safety. He has an extensive career in occupational safety management and has published a number of articles on occupational safety as well as 4 books. His most recent book is Protecting Our Most Valuable Asset, which is a mainstream leadership book that addresses the need and value of integrating safety into organizational operations. His career trajectory actually began when he was a firefighter in West Virginia in the Madison Volunteer Fire Department prior to attending college. That early experience is what brought him full circle to our topic today. Recently, Scotty was the author of Female Firefighters, An Answer in an Age of Declining Volunteerism, which was published in Firehouse in September of this year. Dr. Dunlap is also working on producing a documentary on this subject. Dr. Dunlap, can you tell us a little bit about this study? How did you conduct your research, and where will it go next?
Sure. The way I came upon Frametown was actually a complete fluke. I'd been working as a volunteer at the West Virginia University State Junior Firefighter Camp. And one morning I was small talking with one of the instructors, Randy James, who happened to be an officer in Frametown. And I'd made the comment that how cool I thought it was that there were so many young ladies at the camp. Because as a junior firefighter, even back during that time, it was very male driven. And so I thought it was really neat that there were so many girls there. And Randy responded saying, well, 60% of my fire department is women. And I was like, what? So I went back to my room and pulled up an NFPA report to kind of see what the state of the fire service was at the time, and found that the national average was actually around 8 or 9%.
Wow.
So I thought, this is an exceptional fire department. So over time, once I organized all the funding and everything, I initially was going to go up and interview the members. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, well, if the stories are really rich, it might be nice to actually write a book about it. And so I thought it would be nice to have some photography. So I reached out to Chris Radcliffe, who was our previous university photographer.
Right.
And we talked about the project, and then the more we discussed it, we thought, well, it might be good to actually video the interviews and potentially maybe downstream produce a mini documentary.
Okay.
So I was able to reach out to Christy Middleton in EKU Communications and Brand Management, and then we roped in Brandy Condor and Matt Phelps. So it went from me to a team of 5 of us descending on this fire department. So I was a little afraid of how that would be perceived, but they welcomed us with open arms. I mean, they were excited for us to be there. And my personal goal was to find out, what is it that drives such a large volume of women to become part of this department and stay there.
Yeah.
So that was the initial objective, which we were able to accomplish. So our goal now is to go back up again at some point and dig a little deeper into the personal side of the members to more fully tell their story.
Okay. So why is this an important project in terms of what it means for the fire service and also in general?
Gender equality has been an ongoing issue in the fire service. It's been met with mixed success in different areas. So my hope, number one, was that by telling the story of this department, that it might serve as a way, number one, for women to feel empowered and realize that the volunteer fire service is actually something that they can become involved in. Because the Frametown Volunteer Fire Department ranges from age 17 to 72, I think it is.
Wow.
And in addition to that, there is one situation where there are 3 generations of women in this department.
Wow.
The one junior firefighter, Taylor Riffle, is a female, going up to her mom and grandmother, who are all members. So telling that story to hopefully inspire and empower women to get involved in the volunteer fire service particularly because volunteerism across the country is struggling. And the Appalachian region, it's even worse due to the decline of the coal industry because a lot of people are moving out of the region. So there's an important need to focus on volunteerism and getting women involved. And kind of on the other side of the fence, the hope is that volunteer fire departments and even pay departments could realize that women are a great pool for recruiting and retaining firefighters within their departments.
Right. So what elements are present at Frametown that have facilitated and continue to facilitate such a high level of female engagement?
After interviewing both men and women, we interviewed virtually all the ones that we could. Only time and availability restrict us interviewing all of them, but we interviewed a lot of the women and a lot of the men. And the themes that started surfacing both among the men and the women as to why women come and stay is, number one, the sense of community. Because Frametown is in Braxton County, West Virginia, so it's a very rural area. So the members of this department, they live in this community of friends, family, fellow church members, fellow, whatever. They play ball with each other. So it's a very tight community. So it gives them a chance to serve their neighbors. Secondly is compassion. Though that's a huge gender stereotype that, women are compassionate, men are not so much. But the reality was both men and women in the interviews spoke to that. They did not downplay that men are not compassionate. They actually said men are. But the fire department gives an opportunity for women to demonstrate a greater level of compassion. To the point where one example they gave me during an interview was that a car wreck had occurred in their region, and the mother or the parents were hospitalized, and the children were there. So the women in the fire department went and gathered up the children and took them to McDonald's. So some of those kind of like outside of the box compassionate things were what the women really fed on and had an opportunity to exhibit. The fourth thing is gender equality. What is crazy about Frametown, and why I really hope to be able to tell their story well, is that in an age where gender rhetoric is probably at its peak, Frametown appears to be this perfect microcosm where they've got it figured out. When I think it was on day 1 or 2 of the visit, one of the male firefighters came up to me, and he's like, "Scotty, I don't even know why you all are here," and he wasn't mean about it. He honestly just really did not understand why we would be interested in exploring them, because to them, that level of gender equality was their normal. Yeah, and they couldn't figure out why would somebody want to investigate normal. Well, their normal is something a lot of the country aspires to. The last thing was mentoring. A lot of the women expressed the degree to which once they come in, how well they're received by both the men and the women firefighters, to the point where they're shepherded, trained, both on an emotional and a tactical level. Because this department, they truly are gender blind. So when a woman comes in, their goal is to mentor them and develop them just as they would a male firefighter. So they do not look at gender as being an issue. It's sheerly desire and ability.
Okay, wow, that's fascinating. So then what does the culture at a majority female fire department look like, at least in Frametown? And so what are some of those ways, we've kind of talked a little bit about it, but what are some of the ways it differs from a more typical fire department that's majority male?
The fire service stereotypically is very tight-knit, and there's a strong bond among firefighters. So I'm not discounting that. At Frametown, what I would say that might be a little different, and it's a word that so many of the firefighters mentioned in their interviews, was family. The culture in this department is truly familial. So it's kind of beyond the typical bonding that you might see, to the point where they have a deep vested interest not only in what's going on in the fire department, but also what's going on outside the fire department. So their level of connectedness and bonding is at that deep familial level. So they really do look out for each other. They welcome each other. They want to see the best out of each other.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. It's been really nice talking to you today. Thank you for taking the time out to speak to us about this, and really appreciate you.
You bet.